rejected any haircut on their principal. Do you think that government could have pushed further and secure a haircut?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're a creditor and there has been kind of a debt suspension over the past 2 years, then you don't expect that your principal will be cut along the line. And if you don't having sacrificed the 2 years in itself is a punishment on its own as a creditor. So that is why probably they are insisting that they shouldn't have any haircut on their principal.
And Professor Mensah, the next hurdle for government is to how it will be able to engage each individual country for a final deal in restructuring the $13.4 billion owed to the creditors. How do you foresee that playing out?
I think that is where, the problem is, because we cannot treat individual creditor differently. I think, or even the creditor, wish that they are treated the same. But if you listen to, their message, gives a signal that, of course, none of them wants to be shortchanged in the process of the negotiation. So, in the end, it is expected that they will be treated the same. I would hope that I think there should be a conference of these creditors so that at the end of the day, they will all be at the same level when it comes to information dissemination, across all of them. And in the end, they will come to a convergent point. But, getting to a point where we have to engage them differently, I foresee a situation where it can stall up, the entire negotiations. I'm hoping that there will be a conference so that they all come to the same level, and in the end, none of them will feel shortchanged, so that we can have these agreements gone through, and then we'll start paying our external debt.
And progressively so, an MOU has been reached between Ghana and, of course, its creditors. The executive board of the IMF is set to pass Ghana on its second review under the program, basically. Next week, we are told 28th June. Your quick thoughts?
Yeah, it's a good thing. At the end of the day, if IMF approved the 360 million, because the signal in itself that we are going to get a 360 million has given kind of relief. The past, 1 week that you can see kind of stability, the exchange rate. So if, the board approves it, 360 million, even though it's not something that can, keep our exchange rate stable, but the signal in itself, and then also the credibility that we get, from the IMF, it should be able to go a long way to help the economy.
Professor Mensah, thanks so much for speaking to us here on Business Live. This, of course, is a developing story, and of course, we shall keep our eye on that and keep viewers updated in our subsequent bulletins. Thanks so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us. Now, to one other stories we are also following up for you. 77% of Ghanaians are reporting a significant stress on their livelihood due to the rising cost of living, the impact on their daily life, and of course, consumer behavior. This according to a recent data from Maverick Research and Kasi Insights, which revealed a troubling picture for consumers and the fast-moving consumer goods industry. Here's more in this report.
The statistic underscores the severe strain that inflation is placing on households, eroding purchasing power and compelling difficult choices in spending. The new data indicates that Ghana and Nigeria are the forefront of this economic stress. The report revealed that the consumer feedback collected since the beginning of the year highlights a palpable anxiety among retail owners and clients. The financial squeeze is not merely subjective but a widespread reality affecting the vast majority of the population. The report added that in Ghana and Nigeria, where inflation rates are particularly high, the stress manifests in reduced disposable income and altered consumers' consumption patterns. Consumers are thus forced to prioritize essentials, often cutting back on non-essential goods and services.
All right, so joining us to throw more insight on this research is the Chief Executive Officer of Maverick Research, Atu Maika, for some perspective on this. Thanks so much, Atu, for agreeing to speak to us. Now, first off, explain to us why you found it needful to conduct this survey.
So this actually is a survey that we've been conducting since Q4 of 2022 with our partner Kasi Insights, trending about a whole range of economic issues impacting Africans across 21 countries. And in terms of this specifically, I mean, this is very topical given the inflationary trends that we've been experiencing continent-wide. And so the findings definitely came out to bear a bit more, and we felt this was also the opportune time to also share with our clients and others that we advise.
And I'm wondering, how worrying or alarming is it when you say 77% of Ghanaians are reporting a significant stress on their livelihood due to the rising cost of living, of course, and some other factors you considered?
Sure. So if out of the 21 countries that we surveyed, the average was 32%, right? And Ghana is at 77%, Nigeria is at 81%. So that you can see how far off we are on that front. Definitely the stress of the economic conditions is quite palatable, and that's definitely kind of plays out. It's worrying. Why should it be worrying? Worrying obviously for the impact to both the micro and the macroeconomic conditions, right? So if you're not buying at the individual level, it kind of rolls up to reduce consumption overall in that sense, which obviously slows down in a time when government needs revenue to fund all these obligations, especially some of the debt negotiations that preceded the segment.
When you talk about stress on their livelihoods, what really do you mean?
Stress in their livelihoods, meaning that they have to think about what they are buying. They have to think about the choices that they have to make to even maintain or sustain, their standard of living in that sense. And I think the key point for this is actually the fact that the more you think about this, you naturally then start thinking about more short-term consumption than long-term consumption, right? And so the impact for that is not only on just ordinary everyday goods and services, but the fact that big item purchases, etc., are then impacted more in the long term.
Quickly, what can you tell us when you have to say about some recommendations, which of course you are looking forward to, that might of course change the narrative?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, Pius. The reality here is that it also provides an opportunity for companies to innovate. So innovative companies within the FMCG or the consumer sectors are winning, right? And so companies that are coming out with affordable products in sizes that matter actually are resonating with consumers. If you're companies that are more focused on providing value to consumers, offering discounts and other programs that are actually enticing, are actually winning. But that's also juxtaposed to the fact that you're facing rising costs. And it also presents an opportunity for companies to look at strengthening their local supply chain, right? And so things that we can source locally and save on various, transportation costs relatively in that sense. These are opportunities that comes along with this. And I think to some extent, those are the untapped realities that this shifting market or the challenges that we face now presents. And I think the goal for players within the consumer sector and industry as a whole is to really look at how do we take advantage of this emerging segment and these emerging needs within our consumer space.
Atumaika, thanks so much for speaking to us here on Business Live. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Maverick, and they came out with that research on the livelihoods of Ghanaians, basically. Now, you're still watching Business Live. We are pausing for a breather. We'll be right back with more. Please stay. So much for staying on with us. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has attributed the reason for the increasing rate of the under-invoicing to high taxes and levies imposed on imports. Speaking at a Customs Controls and Regulations Forum organized by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, President of GUTA, Joseph Obeng, explained that the tall list of tax build-up on imports makes it difficult and expensive for compliance.
And the invoicing is going to be with us for a long time, because the taxes that we pay, the cost items were being enumerated by my gentleman here, about 22. And then the tax that we pay, if you pay a tax duty, your goods that you have imported a tax duty of 20%, you know how much cumulatively you pay at the end as a duty. Because the 20% will be charged on your invoice value. So if your invoice value is $100,000, customs will charge 20% and then slap the 20% again on the 100,000 to become 120,000 before they charge the VAT, which cumulates to about 22%, and then they charge you again about 15% cumulatively the cost items that my gentleman was trying to enumerate. And so one have to contend with $55,000 to pay duty. So whether you're a Christian or not, your integrity will be impugned. They say that cost to GDP, total tax to GDP in the sub-region, we are last. Why are we not last? The research that we did, the research that Ghana Shippers Authority did with us, so that we pay the highest taxes in the sub-region. And apart from it being highest, the rate being high, we pay many taxes. And so we pay that. So why should our tax to GDP be low? It should have been highest. But if you do that, compliance is not assured. If you overtax us, nobody will comply. That's why we go under, so that we'll be able to do business, to be able to take care of good Ghanaians, give them better prices, and then also we can take care of our children.
Now, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel has revealed that it is implementing strategies to help improve its fortunes, despite attempts to sell it off to a new buyer. The hotel, for weeks now, has come under public scrutiny over its profitability issues following an alleged takeover by a strategic investor by its major owner, that is the State Pension Trust. John Ganza is Managing Director of La Palm Beach Hotel and has been speaking to Joy Business in Bahamas.
There's a lot of competition out there, but that's exactly why we're here, all right? To let people know that we're still existing. We're doing what we need to do to also make the change that we need to. And yes, we're letting people know that La Palm is not gone like most people think. We are still there and we're still active, and we're a place to be. Yes.
I think that is gone. I mean, forgive my bias, but I was like, oh, La Palm is here. That is what is still out there. What is being done to ensure that it becomes the top of mind hotel when it comes to people getting into hotel in Accra, when they are coming from the Caribbean, when they're coming from USA, when they're coming from Europe?
Right, so yeah, so one of the things is exactly why we're here, to let them know that we do exist. We've done a lot of renovations over the last 6 months or so, trying to change the face of the hotel itself, but we're also taking this opportunity to come to events like this to make people know and let people know that we do exist, we're still there, and we're definitely a contender to be out there for people to choose to come and stay with us, yes.
Any turnaround strategies being implemented that you think that will position the hotel at the top there as a place where everyone has to be when they come to Accra?
Well, so part of what I've even been doing is obviously offering certain rates that we would probably not offer any other client. So this is some of the strategies that we're making with this part of the world, so that we can encourage and entice people to come and stay with us. So those that have engaged have, we've all tried to offer them rates that are attractive, should I say, just so that they can be encouraged.
Finally, what would you tell any prospective hotelier or hotel person who wants to come to Ghana, and telling them about the new quote La Palm and what you've done, that listen, it is the place to be?
Oh yes, I mean, La Palma is it. We've got the grounds, we've got the capacity, we have the facilities, so I would say that we're still the place to be.
And we want to stay a while longer in Bahamas because Caribbean island Anguilla is offering Ghanaian investors in their economy a path to securing British passports if they invest up to $750,000 in their country. The move is part of efforts by the British Overseas Territory to attract more investment into their economy, including tax breaks and other incentives. Ellis Webster is the Prime Minister of Caribbean Island and has been speaking to Joy Business.
We have the Residency by Investment program, and what that says that if you come in and you invest $750,000 US, you get immediate permanent residence. And then if you're here for 5 years, you can become a British Overseas Territory citizen, and then that can lead to a UK passport. And I think that gives you a lot of avenues that are opened up to be able to travel more. So a Ghanaian who comes in under that regime certainly has many options. We also have where you can contribute $150,000 US or more to a capital development fund, where you help us to develop our infrastructure, our schools, our hospitals, our roads, but that also gives you permanent residence. And then there's a third option, which is a tax advantage, where you basically invest $400,000 and then $75,000 a year for 4 years, and you get the same permanent residence that then allows you the same opportunities to go to citizenship. And so those are the opportunities.
Do you believe that?
And that's it for the bulletin. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.